Hello, everyone. We're kind of excited about this podcast. It's something that me and Jesse had talked about doing and kind of anxious to get going. And we've got a couple really special guys that we want to just introduce the community to. We're going to probably call this whole session Young Guns 2023, a couple bright young stars that are great kids. And we're going to let them introduce themselves a little bit. Our first person I'm introducing you to is Tanner Gibson. Tanner, how are you doing?
I'm doing great today, Brad.
Good deal, buddy. Tell me a little bit, just a brief overstatement of who you are.
Well, I'm just from a little bit south of Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm 15.
15. All right. How long you been shooting?
I've been shooting for 4 years.
Okay, good deal. Our other guest is a young man that I've yet to meet, but I hear a lot of great things about him, and I'm looking forward to connecting with him on the range. Jesse Grant, are you there?
I am. Hi, Brad.
Hi, buddy. Nice meeting you. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Longwood, Florida, a little bit south of Sanford, and I'm 13 years old.
13 years old. So that puts you eighth grade?
Eighth grade, yep.
All right. Okay, good deal. And Tanner, you a sophomore or junior?
Sophomore.
Sophomore. Okay. Good deal. You got some questions for these two young men, Jesse Misko?
Yeah, I think an easy one would be to start off with how you started shooting, whether it was from shooting with your parents, a friend, or how that began. We can go with Tanner first.
So just getting introduced to shooting would definitely be from just turkey shoots from a young age, which is shooting at a paper target. From there, it was always baseball up until about middle school. I lost a little bit of interest in baseball. So we went and checked out like the shotgun side of the shooting sports, and it just didn't really seem like it was for me at that time. And so my dad had a buddy that had some kids on our local SASP team, which is how I kind of got into the action shooting sports.
Awesome.
And it just kind of snowballed from there, and here I am.
Cool. Jesse, how about you?
I started shooting BB guns when I was like really, really young, and that grew into a really big interest in firearms and guns. And then I started hunting with my parents when I was about 7. And then I started doing other sports when I got into like 5th, 6th grade. I did flag football for my school, and then COVID hit. So there was no season for a little while. So I was bored at home. And one morning my dad was watching Shooting USA, and there was it was a program about drag racing with guns, so Steel Challenge and SASP, and we went and found a local SASP team, and then I was hooked from there.
Cool. Yeah, I always feel like everyone starts with hunting. Brad, do you hunt much?
You know what? I did when I was these guys' age, and grew up on a beef farm and always had free beef, and it was just better than anything I could hunt. So I decided I didn't really need to go shoot any animals because I always had free beef. So I was spoiled on that side of it.
Yeah,
but
I think Adam and I are a very rare breed where we had never been hunting. Well, maybe Adam's been hunting, but either way, we didn't get started through that route. But it's really cool to see that SASP has been such a gateway into the sport, because I know Steel Challenge, it doesn't have that collegiate side to it. I'd like to see it go that route, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so that's good information. Another question I'm going to bounce off you guys is, what are the different like venues you shoot in, and what guns or classes do you shoot? Jesse Grant, start us off.
So right now, this is my 4th year in SASP and going into my 3rd year for Steel Challenge. I would like to move into other sports like USPSA and IDPA.
Have you shot Rimfire Challenge at all?
Yes.
Okay, or Metal Madness too, I'm guessing, probably.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Tanner, I know you shoot several different disciplines. What all are you shooting?
And my main two are definitely Steel Challenge and SASP. But it's always fun to get out and shoot a little bit of Rimfire Challenge, Metal Madness, Rimfire Falling Still. And a new up and coming type of match is called Rimfire Nation. They're having their nationals match in a couple months.
I've seen some advertising on that, and I think I'm going to be going down to that. It looks like a lot of fun, kind of a mixture of a lot of different games.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be fun. I'll probably see you there.
Yeah, it'd be great to see you there, Brad.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. So you guys mentioned briefly, Tanner, that you played some baseball. You are not doing that now. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm not playing baseball anymore. No, sir.
Are you doing any other sports?
No, just focusing on
Not right
shooting.
now. Okay, good. And Jesse, what about you?
I only do shooting.
Okay, good deal. Well, I know you guys are quite dedicated and are working pretty hard at your skills, and that does take up a lot of time. So, and often when people are as passionate about it as you guys are, there's not a lot of time to dedicate to some other sports too. So that's certainly understandable.
Yeah, when I used to play baseball in school, my dad would always tell me, well, you're either going to get a job or you're going to play baseball, because both of them take up a lot of time. So I played baseball. I much rather prefer that.
Okay.
But I guess for
Go ahead,
Tanner, for Tanner, what is your favorite division to shoot?
Favorite division would definitely be rimfire pistol optic.
Okay. What is it about that?
It's just my favorite gun to shoot. The CWA is always great to shoot. It's a little bit of a challenge too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pistols have a lot higher of a learning curve, so I always find that challenge to be a little more fun. Jesse, what do you like to shoot?
I'm split between rimfire rifle optics and carry optics.
Carry optics? You said you were 13?
Yes.
Yeah. I really would want to see more kids around your age to start shooting the centerfire pistols, because I think there just isn't a big enough group there.
I went to the Max Michel Double Alpha Junior Camp, and after that, I just really started loving 9mm pistols, and I got hooked.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure you got a lot of good information there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think you learn a lot more of a discipline when you shoot that kind of thing, because there's much more recoil. You have the draw. There's just way more fundamentals there that'll kind of spill over into all the other guns. Because I know when I shot all my optics, I'd always shoot a lot better with the irons afterwards, even if I don't practice it. So it's definitely good to get into that kind of stuff.
There's definitely some good advantage of that for sure. You know, your grip becomes more important, and all those other, your trigger control and those things that sometimes we can be a little bit lack with rifles and even maybe rimfire pistols at times. So yeah, that's good. I know, Tanner, you shoot some centerfire as well.
Yeah, I shoot a little bit of centerfire.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to bounce into something. I know, Tanner, I know you a little better than Jesse, but I know that you guys take your training pretty serious, and it's something that you work on. Tanner, I know you do some dry fire and some other things. Tell me a little bit about your training plan. And I know there's different times of the season when school's in, school's out, and life's not as busy. You probably do more than others. But what are the things that you feel has helped you the most in your training, and maybe some things you're looking to add?
So one of the biggest things I've picked up a little bit more recently was when I came up there training with you, was the dot off, getting the plate in just the center of your glass.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the most helpful things since then. And just like dry fire wise, it's the airsoft's great.
Yeah.
Brad, if you don't mind, you don't need to dig into it too much, but do you want to explain what Tanner's talking about with the dot off?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to do a little bit of training with Tanner, and one of the nice things, we have all the stages set up for dry fire training, which is really nice. And one of the things that we dry fire to is a par timer. And when the dot is off, it's really easy to shoot really, really fast par times. So to add a visual discipline to that, we can't see the dot, but we want to see the plate centered in the optic all the time. And that stresses the fundamentals so that we're not, flipping our hands or doing other things that, that move that dot on our gun. And then when you turn the dot on, most people find that it is much easier to dry fire or even live fire faster strings because the dot has a tendency to center itself on the target much more naturally. Would you call that an accurate assessment, Tanner?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so I know Tanner picked up a lot of time when he started playing with that a little bit, which was nice. Everybody has different triggers, which is one of the fun things about coaching is different things help different people. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting technique. So um, yeah, that's fun. Um, Jesse Grant, what do you do training wise, or do you have plans to incorporate?
So for my dry fire, I have my dad made like 10-inch, 12-inch in the square targets out of corrugated plastic,
Mm-hmm.
and got some PVC and built stands for the targets. And I'll go out there with my gun and turn my dot on and just see my sight on the target and train my motions through that.
Kind of create patterns or timing devices. Is that
Um,
or rhythm? Maybe is a better word.
I train with my timer with part times.
Okay. So do you find yourself like creating a rhythm for shooting like roundabout or other things where you have, intended pauses on harder targets and maybe really fast transitions on faster targets?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Jesse Misko, expand on that some because I mean, obviously you're in Wisconsin. You have a really short shooting season compared to most people. And I think of everyone I know, you take your dry firing so serious in those off months when you actually get started back in. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what you do with that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how fast the season's going. It's almost over as it is. I've always been a very, I guess you could say, musical person. I played cello for 9 years when I was in school. And so I've always had those, or the ability to hear rhythms, find rhythms in just about everything that I do. And it's actually pretty easy to find a rhythm when you're shooting because let's just say you take a video of yourself and you shoot the stage and you listen to it back. If you take the tone of the plates and the kind of the spacing between them, it really just comes out to being a song on its own. And if you find the, I guess, song that you like, the rhythm that you like, the cadence, you can really grab onto that. And what I find to be really nice is you can use it to then speed up and slow down your times. Let's say I'm shooting a 2 flat on speed option. I can keep the same rhythm, just kind of take those splits down in an equal matter between them all, and shoot a 1/8 with the exact same pattern, just a little faster. So I find that if you can find a rhythm, a cadence, a pattern, you can use that to really build on what you have already. And pretty much every stage has a cadence, it has a rhythm. So if you just kind of find that, you can really build off of it.
That's really good info. Um, okay, boys, talk to me about your role models and some of the people that's made positive influences in your life. Doesn't have to be shooting, but it might be. Who wants to start? Jesse Grant?
Sure. So I have two role models. So my first role model is my coach Bill Capers. He's trained me a lot on like my mentality, and he's trained me with a metronome for my cadence, which is also a good training technique. And he's just really friendly and awesome to hang out with at every match. And my second role model is Max Michel, because he's an awesome shooter. And when I met him at the junior camp, he was just awesome to hang out with and train with, and he's really good at giving tips and helping you improve.
I've listened to several of his little, tip podcasts, and he's a very good teacher. I mean, he's very logical in his explanations. I think I can certainly understand, that connection there. Now, talk to me about some role models or one or two that are not related to shooting.
My parents, they're always there to help me with my mental game and support me and get me going when I'm like slowing down a little bit during a match.
Mm-hmm. Good. Tanner, your turn. Talk to me.
One of my biggest role models would definitely be Chris Barrett. He was there at one of my first little local matches when I was getting into it, and he was definitely there to answer any question, no matter how small or how big it was. And my other role model would definitely be Steve Foster. He he was another one that was kind of around when I had started getting into the shooting, because I had started shooting around when like the lockdowns have ended and everybody else was getting like back out to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So the first like little local match after that was at Dead Zero, and that was where he had first introduced me to the Magnum Research switch bolt. He let me borrow his gun for that match.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course we went down and done some training with him. Just great dude.
I really think a lot of Steve. He's been wonderful to me, and certainly I talk to him quite often, calling and asking for advice and changing ideas around, and he certainly is always willing to help people. So good role model for sure. So I'm gonna bounce off of that a little bit and talk to you guys also about, I think you guys named people that were very good shooters that you looked up to when you were getting into the sport and learning. So my challenge to you a little bit is, I think you guys are that same person to some of these younger shooters. So yeah, I think your natural personalities allow you to do that, or to be good role models. But remember too that those youngsters that see you guys, man, you're as big as Max Michelle or Steve Foster to them. And I know you guys do a great job of that, Tanner. Personally, I've seen you always helping the younger kids, and you like take pride in it. And actually, it looks like you really enjoy working with some of the youngsters, and that's really good. That's I'm proud of you guys for doing that. And don't forget to take that job seriously, okay, fellas?
Of course.
Yeah, something
Jesse Miska, expand on that, or whatever else you want to talk about.
Something that I really when I'm at a match, I tend to think introspectively. I'm always thinking about what can I do better for myself? How can I change things? But something that Brad, that you've taught me is that whether you're on the range, you're posting on social media, people are always watching you. They're always trying to learn from you, because that's how I learned when I first started, as I would dig around in Instagram and Facebook and try to find every little nugget of information that I can grab and expand on that. So I've really learned a lot in knowing that everyone's watching. And it's kind of fun too to be able to help people, teach people, not because it looks good, but just because it's fun to do.
It is. I think there is a lot of joy in helping people. At the end of the day, we won't be great shooters forever, but we can still be good people that help others. And I know Tanner talked about Steve being a role model, and one thing I know with Steve is just anyone that calls him, he's always anxious to help, and that's a great thing. So good stuff. We're running a little bit out of time because we want to keep this short enough, but I got a couple fun questions for you fellas. Jesse Grant, I know you're down there in Florida. I'm guessing there might be a football team or a team that you're a big fan of. Is there anything down there?
I support the Tampa Bucks, but I don't really like follow on sports much for whatever reason.
I gotcha. Well, and then I'm going to bounce to Tanner because I already kind of know the answer to this one. But Tanner, is there anything that you kind of follow pretty religiously?
Definitely UT football and Dallas Cowboys.
I didn't know the Dallas Cowboys one, but I knew about that UT connection there. I think you get to go up front in person to some of those games, don't you?
Yeah, we only live about 30 minutes away from campus.
Oh, wow. Okay. And I know there's always plenty of Southern sweet tea and Mountain Dew in that cooler that you carry around at the matches. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah.
and Jesse, does your dad and mom have a favorite drink they stock that cooler with?
I don't know. Kona Gold. They like Kona Gold. Kona Gold.
Oh, good. That's good stuff. So.
And water.
Okay, that's good job. Well, fellas, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to spend a few minutes with us and telling us a little about yourself. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys at the matches, and I want to wish you the best of luck in your shooting career and the rest of your endeavors there. And I'm going to turn this over to Jesse Misko and let him say a few words as we cut this off.
Uh,
Do you have some advice for the boys, Jesse?
Always try to be creative when you're practicing. If something's not working for you, stop, think about it, and then try to change something. Shoot something differently. Like let's say on Smoke and Hope, you're shooting plates 1, 2, 3, 4 stop, which seems to be like how everyone starts that stage when they first start shooting. They always shoot it just left to right. Try to find a different way to shoot it, even if it's shooting 2, 1, 3, 4 stop, which kind of makes no sense. But sometimes you can have a breakthrough. You'll shoot it that way, and then you go back and be like, hey, I just learned something, and I don't even know what I just learned, but I'm shooting it better now. And I've found that I've done that way too many times in this sport, especially with like showdown and outer limits. I'll just change something and not have a reason why, but it'll just work. So always try new things.
I'm going to throw something out as a little bit of an advice thing that I learned from Jesse Misko when he came over here to shoot with me, and it was, don't be afraid to miss. In training with Jesse Misko, Jesse's not afraid to miss, and he's okay if he does. He just really wants to get better and faster, and with that, you're going to miss. So,
yeah.
You want to expand on that? You can probably expand on that a whole lot better than I can, but I know that was one thing that made an impact on me when I was training with you.
Yeah, the easiest way to put it is you won't improve without failure. So accept that you're going to fail and just move on.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Good stuff. Well, fellas, thank you so much for spending some time with us, and best of luck in your shooting. And when you run into me at the range, don't forget to come up and say hi. Thanks, fellas.
I will come up.
All right.
Thanks,
Take care.
Right,
Good evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night, guys.
Bye.
See you, everybody.